quote, her legs glowed in the dark. And so now we kind of know where the blue tint or the blue glow of Rachel Holtman came from, or Holly and Miranda, or Holly Puller, or Haley and Miranda Schwartz, or Sasha Imes. So I thought it would be famous, Haley and Miranda. But now we also know where the blue tint or the blue glow may have went, or the blue girls, or where it started to form and then where it went. And so again, it can prove something about your manufacturing process. Tom Serson, Jim Riley, Joe Zillig, Harry Race, Bernard LaChance, DJ Dave, Perdita Quinwan, Elton Anderson, Don Wiley, Jim Hall, Bill Duvall, Doug King, Morgan, Steve Jones, Ellery's, Robo Knight. See, Robo Knight, it don't work. Why? Because you have crime entangled within it, for one. Ellery's. It also proves that you guys, All American Attila Joe, your obsession for Lita, where you guys get ideas from, and then when you try to utilize them, why they don't work. So, you guys 3-time hacking, listening to people, and then trying to create it, and then sending your like Red Randy up the lead over it, or whomever, it doesn't formulate. It also proves where the immaculate conceptions are, and where the parents did the immaculate separation to divvy up the children. So when you guys try to lead over it, not necessarily the girls, but the men, it doesn't work because you guys lie, and when it formulates Bernard, yet they'll keep lying. Harry, Joe, Pickett Street, Jamaica Street, and you have to redo your Carney tank dumps, huh, Red Randy, and Ghetto Life, huh? So it means you, Ellery, probably originally stole an idea from who? Greg Faust, or Greg Faust, or Paul Puller, or Jay Beswick, or Brian, or let's see who else in there. Juice Colonel Melco, Colin Powell, and then you guys recirculate it through your crime engine, Red Randy, Timo Cortez. And if it doesn't work, then you try to do your forced placement of marriages. So I wonder, you guys had a tube there, and in Florida, and then Colorado, and here, and then Harry and them, you guys go, oh, we want red instead. And then it was children. Oh, I wonder, Bernard, why you guys have such a favorite. Hey, Robo Knight. I wonder why people's eyeballs are all jacked up and shit. The hillbillies fight over that too, cowboys. Get it? Carney's poke, 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 poke. That's the first thing to go. The blue eyes. Then the ears of the blue children. You steal a bit of teeth. Chin. It means that the idea was starting to formulate up and work, but you guys fight over it every time. Blue boys. Oyster Cracker Man. Perlita. Dave. Harry. Bernard. So when you have all that crime wave entangled into it, and then the families that you leech from then killed, Elton and Bernard and Harry, like I said, you screw with Stevie J. Faust, Joe first, tell a fib about Holly and Amanda, so you chose Joe and them chose Holly first, because the skin of the mixed, right? And then I happen to be a twin mixed. Wow, I wonder what the problem is. And then people's faces get deformed and all mutilated up. I wonder. Joe, Harry, Bernard, I wonder what the problem is. I think the concept of the blue is the correct one until Bernard and them destroyed it and stole all the shit. Probably from, like I said, the Pullers, or the Schwartzes, or the Imes. Harry, Joe. So, your consistent abuse, Joe, and your assertion with that rapist fag whisperer there, and Bernard and them trying to claim that they lead the world with Dave and Perlita, and their incident out on the island and the fight over the condos of the McBride stuff, and the rest of it just uncanny who the bike D's are. All American! All white. So you had to have been in competition with Greg E. Faust. Huh? Joe and Paul Puller first. But just like I said, Holly and Amanda, you men's sexual obsession over those two is quite large. And then, maybe a blue glow of a Bela Cantir and a Kim Beswick. So it kind of makes you a sicko, Bernard, as you keep trying to assert and put, go rule the throne with a minor child to control it and then say you did it for the good of the world or the nation when, like I said, it's totally agenda driven about how fag you men can be. And then hillbilly boy in the boxes and let's put a brown tree here and a brown light pole here. We don't like the Jews or the Russian, but we'll take their shit and use it. Or Spain, or Lockheed stuff, or NASA stuff, or JPL, or IHS, or IBM. So they all made fun of IBM at first, and then they like them, or Intel. Bernard, that's why the world, the balanced world that you say you created is not even close to being balanced. Because the four of you, once you got together and committed those rapes and murders and crimes and cover-up, have got to be like the dumbest people to exist. It proves that it doesn't belong to you, Perlita, Dave, and so on and so forth. You guys stole everybody's shit and just moved into places and then divvied it up. And then first one you guys went after was PT Cruiser Julie, to swap in the hillbilly Julie, Red Randy running in, pretending, and all that spray painting red, all this shit, doing carny tank dumps. That's why the world sucks, because you guys fucked over me and my dad, Joe, and you always knew that. Your team of lies, Joe, and you killed another man's kid. You hillbilly hicks in your racism just don't get it, do you? Just because you run a race across the nation both ways and fight a war and take all the money and put, doesn't mean you're a winner, Bernard. It generally means you're a loser. And so you put the arc of Perlita and Ellery there, and their nose is pointing up in the air, fighting over that cross, just like they're fighting over Disney. It's kind of obvious. Look at that super early cheap. They're doing something good. I mean, that's the only thing we have left, man. After you guys ripped it all apart, after she did all that work. So you guys, disputes on after sex. But like I said, Elia Miranda, Disney Girls, you're kind of famous. That's a woman that toughs it out. And her mom, I'll tell you what, and the Beswick Girls. But you want to know why you guys, ladies, are getting fat? It's Ellery and his little box of 6 there. And their slaughter of a family here. Joe not keeping up with his end of the bargain. And letting his friends sitting there terrorize, and Harry and them terrorize the children. So, we kind of figure out the experimentator man's family and why the world is not even close or remotely close to being balanced. And then you guys get upset when you're questioned. It was probably something that was going to work for everybody until you guys decided to start beating the shit out of everybody, Harry, and decided that Google and all that belonged to you guys. And so I think Brian and me just let you guys have it because we got sick of the argument, fully well knowing it wasn't yours in the first place. Because the first thing you latched onto, Harry, was Kim and Bailey or Ollie and Amanda like Bernard. So you're just a bunch of loser control freaks, Carney Bernard, trying to control everything just so before you die, just like Ellery, you're remembered for something. You guys basically did the same thing to Tesla and Edison and all them. Their idea wasn't good enough. Oh, now it is. Smash them down, then take it. But none of you understand it after you guys, fucked him up. AC/DC. Then you guys want to learn about it, and they're not here anymore because you guys slaughtered all their families. So when you guys go look at the patents, you all pretend. Just like you guys are doing now with Google. So like I said, let the oppressor win. Let him go run back up there with Riley or whoever. Because it'll fall apart again, Randy and Bernard and Harry in your fake little village up there, where he just sits there and broadcasts with Perlita about how special they are. But that's why you have problems with the stank, Perlita, because you guys did it all ghetto-esque and shit, and that rarely works in the society. I know African Americans, you need to be like, you're wanting something so bad to justify your existence on the earth because, supposedly oppression, but like I said, remember, they learned it from you people first. So the same things you guys did in your own nation, they adopted here. And so you can't really get upset when the girls basically learn the behavior of the men because they have no choice because they're oppressed. And then they, read a Bible or any other religious book and go, well, the odds are stacked against us anyway. Then they look at nature and basically find out the same thing. So you men wrote it. You have to understand that they're only trying to survive as much as you all are. So, especially when you guys basically tell them in the first few paragraphs of the Bible that they're pretty much screwed and you guys are going to kill pretty much any female. And then when there are males that actually take their side, the first thing you religious men do is attack the males. And then so what is people to think? Well, it looks like polygamy and pedophiles and some cults that have too much money and time on their hands asserting that they created the I or God, and they're not even fucking close, because Red Randy and Bernard and Harry, Pickett Street, Jamaica Street, if you all actually did, it would have held stable and worked for every single being on the planet Earth. But it didn't, because you let Banshee, India, and Polita and other people go through people's houses and beat the shit out of them, take their crap, and then go, well... So basically it goes by how many you fuck, Bernard. And well, really, I'm not interested in fucking a bunch of, women who like to fucking shove food in their face on purpose and make themselves fat. It's a bullshit excuse which they learned from the ghetto style of the Negroes, yet again, something probably overseas, just so they can have power and control and, we're gay now. It's all just like every excuse to try to be cool. But the whole thing is most of those people who actually work for it, or actually, like I'm them thin, or, have been oppressed by the group of you, or figure out the game, figure out how to do their stuff so covertly and far away from the group of you, most of you will never know, Bernard and Harry. So you can pretend, Bernard, with Joe and Harry and them, that you rule the earth just because you have your name stamped there with Jim Hall and Bill Duvall, but you're abusers. You abused me, Aaron, Victor, Justin, Paul, just the name goes on, and Harry and them go, well, let's get with the police now and all the money people and intimidate them to death like the football game, when really you're a bunch of dorks. So, Karen, why don't you watch Reefer Madness again and some other of those shows and take your own advice about, trying to rule and control over people with your, diorama with Stan and the Custard's Last Stand, because it's an old war tactic and it's not really good to use during a modern warfare time of technology. And you should have gotten that when you watched and you've seen a lot of war on television already, that it wasn't a good idea. So trying to teach me a religious lesson and letting your friends mutilate me down and shit makes you dumb, especially when you all repeat it and then you guys wonder why you turn into piles of shit. The carnies basically tell you guys they stole you guys' stuff, but you guys didn't care, so they utilized it for their own shit. Now you can turn around and you care. Like I said, the one I'd be pissed at, or be pissed at, it would be Greg. I mean, if he actually that stuff was all his, or Ron Miller's, man, I'd be pissed to see you, Bernard, and your little attack come down on half the people to force them to live in cowboy country in western hick shit Indianville, a nasty stink. So basically, Bernard, if you guys love it that much and you're going to force everybody else to live in it, they're going to force you to fucking deal with that fucking shit. And they get to prove and make fun of you, Bernard and Perlita and Dave, for as long as time flows, about how wrong and repeatedly wrong the group of you are, since you've already fucking done this, Bernard, and you guys know you're wrong.